Well, with me right now is our friend Stuart Spencer from Advanced Ear Care. Great
Morning,
to
Tim.
have you, sir.
Always nice to be here.
We have a few things to talk about today, and one of them we'll get to last was heat and humidity when it comes to hearing aids. That'll be interesting to talk about. But first, you got an open house going on, right?
That's right. You know, we're excited about it. It's a special event we have that goes today through Thursday. You know, we have a national specialist that comes in. You know, this is a gentleman that's been in the business about 40 years, and he diagnoses, you know, really tough hearing losses, and we come up with good solutions for him. You know, we have John come in a couple times a year, and we've been really successful with resolving some of these tougher hearing problems. So, you know, whether you have a real difficult problem and you're used to wearing hearing aids, or if you just want to come in and just even find out if you have any hearing loss or not. You know, we invite people in for a free hearing exam, and it's just kind of a fun time all week.
When does a good time for someone to come in? And what I mean by that is, at what point should they, much the same way at a certain point, maybe you get your eyes checked a little bit more. Maybe there's no eye problem, maybe there's no hearing problem. But how often should someone come in, and at what age, maybe regularly, once a year or whatever?
Yeah, you know, it's a very interesting question. You know, we test people, you know, well up into their 70s.
Yeah.
And, you know, we ask, hey, when was your last hearing exam? Grade school?
Well, yeah.
The military?
Mine was, yeah,
you know? And I'm like, wow,
yeah.
you know, that's amazing. So, you know, I mean, we think, you know, when they hit 60, they should have their hearing tested once a year.
Okay.
You know, that's just a good rule of thumb. And, you know, we find people are very surprised at the amount of hearing loss they do have. You know, whether, you know, I mean, zero's like normal hearing, you know, across a hearing chart for us, you know, even if they're down around 20, 25, 30, you know, they're like, wow, you know, they're kind of surprised they've lost that much hearing.
Yeah.
But usually the spouse confirms it, you know, pretty quickly
Yeah.
that, you know, they needed to come in and have that checked, and they really need some help, you know, and
it's natural as we get older.
That's
I
right.
mean, just like your eyes, it's just, there's some degradation, no matter how healthy or great you live your life.
But you
it's
know,
life.
the amazing thing about hearing loss is, you know, three things. You know, it's invisible, you know, it's painless, and it's really gradual.
Yeah.
So the hearing people have, they think that's normal hearing.
Yeah.
And we test them, and they've lost over half their hearing. They just don't know the difference. You know, people that are around them know the difference because they see them missing things,
right,
and misunderstanding conversations, but they think they have normal hearing. They say, no, I don't have a problem at all. And we test their hearing and then correct it, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, I should have done this a long time ago.
Well, I think, you know, even I notice it now and then when, for instance, over the weekend, we went to a restaurant and it was loud in there. It was a cheesecake factory.
Sure.
Great cheesecake, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But because there were 5 of us there, and they put us in a kind of more of a long table, and it is a very loud restaurant. It was sometimes hard to hear, you know, my daughter speak or something like that, even for my wife and I.
That's right.
And I'm not sure, because I think even, you know, my older stepdaughter and her boyfriend, who are both like in their mid-20s, even they were having a little trouble because it was a loud restaurant. But still, I found myself going, what did you say? What did you say?
Starting to strain. And, you know, and so that's, you know, we hear that a lot, right? And in restaurants. And so, you know, I'm always quick to tell people that, you know, even people with normal hearing have a harder time in noisy restaurants.
Yeah, of course,
right?
you do.
Just like you're talking
Yeah.
about. So, you know, when they're wearing their hearing aids in those environments, you know, they struggle a little bit, just like, you know, normal hearing people do as well.
Right.
But yeah, that's when you start to kind of notice it, you know.
Yeah.
It's all about this signal to noise ratio.
Right.
You know, I mean, if it's quiet in a room like we're in now, you know, the speech is up here, there's no noise. You know, you go into a restaurant, it just shifts.
Oh, yeah.
The noise comes
And
up, the speech is
especially
behind
now.
it, and you just can't quite hear through that noise.
When we were younger, restaurants were quiet.
Right, the booths and the carpeting and everything of that sort, that's right.
All right, now, coming up next month, you're going to talk about what technology breakthrough, and this is interesting. Translate different languages, and
so this is a mind-blowing.
This is IA, right?
Revolution,
yeah.
you know,
or AI, I should say. Yeah.
In hearing aid technology. You know, we go through, you know, different phases of technology where, you know, we increase the, you know, the features, the performance of the hearing aids, the speech clarity. You know, many of those issues. This is just a whole different breakthrough. And this gentleman that came over to, you know, Audubel Hearing was a chief engineer for Intel.
Okay.
And they had tried to get this gentleman to come on board for quite some time. It's kind of an interesting story, Anjan. And he said, no. Then he said, well, wait a minute. Who is that? He gets headhunter calls all the time, right? He said, who is that called? And they said, Starkey is their parent company, right? And he said, you know what? I know Starkey. And he said, I wrote my thesis on Starkey. Was one of the companies that I wrote about. And he had needed to take 3 companies that individuals had started, and they still were private, and 3 that individuals started that were public. And one of the companies was Starkey Laboratories. And he said, I followed this company for over 10 years.
Wow.
I know about their foundation work, I know about their technologies. Yeah. And so he took the interview, and of course Starkey said, we would love you, but there's no way we could pay you what Intel pays you, And he said, you know what, I've made plenty of money. He says, you guys don't
Wouldn't that be nice to have that problem?
Yeah, he said, you guys don't even know what you can do with hearing instruments. And this is his first release after a year and a half. So this hearing instrument will translate 23 languages. It'll do all your Fitbit stuff, monitor your heart rate, the number of steps you take every day, and show you that information on your iPhone. It'll also, in the near future, geotag where you're at if you fall, and send paramedics to you, so you don't have to worry the life alert thing. And so they know, exactly where you're located, and you can acknowledge the signal and send for that help. I mean, this just takes it to a whole different level. And by the way, it's the best hearing that's ever been established in a hearing aid.
That's amazing.
Isn't that wild? We're really excited about it.
2 things are interesting. And one is, of course, a lot of this stuff, whether it's hearing aid or eye care or things like this, are coming from companies like Intel and Google and Apple and things like that. Sort of, not directly, but they develop different kinds of technologies, and then it moves its way into the medical field. But that's where the stuff is coming from.
This is an amazing thing.
In
January, we were at a technology conference in Las Vegas, and boy, I wish I could remember the doctor's name, but a brilliant physicist, was just talking about how fast, technology is improving because of all the different fields that are involved. Physics, electronics, medical. Everything's just kind of coming together. And with the size reduction of electronics and the speed of how they can process, different things, whatever it would be, with vision or hearing or any other kind of, autos, right? Automobiles starting to drive themselves. All this type of technology is going to just exponentially increase over time and just really provide some amazing products. And this is the first wave of that, so we're really excited about being part of that.
That is great. Now, here's something that heat and humidity, how it affects hearing aids. We know that heat and humidity affects some kinds of electronics. I don't know if it affects your phone too often. I know when I've had my my iPhone in certain parts of the country where we had high humidity, it worked fine. But I remember years ago, I had a little video camera. It just shut down. It wouldn't work at all.
Yeah, I've left my phone in the car sometimes. It comes back and it's overheated.
It will tell you that.
So heat definitely affects electronics. And, I mean, my goodness, with, hearing devices, we're wearing them, 14 hours a day, all day long, every day. So, during this time of year, we see a big influx of people come in and just say, it just sounds a little bit weak, or it's just not quite as clear as it used to be. And, there are little covers over the microphones in the hearing aid. And just, the oil from your hair, gets in the microphones, or just perspiration, or, the gunk on your hands, everything just kind of builds up. And during the summer when it's hot like this, and boy, we've had a hot summer. We've just seen a huge influx of people coming in for those type of issues. The wonderful thing is, most of the time, we can just take those hearing aids, make those small changes, and get them right back on the air and right out the door, and they're really happy that they're hearing so much better. So the heat and humidity does affect it. So if you need something like that done, just come in. We're happy to take a look at it and take care of it right in our office.
Quick question along that. At home, are there ways people can clean them, or shouldn't mess with them?
There's the fundamental or basic, cleaning type of tools that we always give people.
Okay.
Another thing we give individuals that really have this problem on a recurring basis, there's a little jar where you that has a little desiccant in it.
Sure.
So you put those little pills in the microwave, heat them up, put them back in the jar, put your hearing aids in there and close it at night. It sucks a lot of that moisture out.
Okay.
For people that are working outside, construction workers, road workers, those type of individuals really use those, all the time, or just people that work out a lot. you know,
Okay.
use those so they dry them out overnight. So there's stuff they can do right at home as well.
All right, very good. And Willow Tree on its way.
Wow,
almost
it's
there?
really looking good. I mean, have you been over there at all to take a look at it?
No, I haven't.
It's
I mean, I
really-
drive that way on the way home, but I
Okay.
go down El Toro, so I don't really get a chance to
Yeah,
see it.
swing in there. It's really looking nice.
Good.
You know, of course, you know they were going to be done, you know, July 31st.
Yeah.
But here we are. So now we're looking at October. But I mean, I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It's going to be beautiful. And there's about 6 other businesses coming in there.
Very good.
Hair salon, nails, you know, yogurt shop. Yay.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah.
So we're really looking forward to, you know, just that whole renovation of that whole business complex, and we're happy that we're part of it there.
Fantastic. Always good to see you.
Good to see you,
You
Ken.
take care, my friend.
Thank you.
AdvancedAirCare.com, and they're located, as he said, in the Willow Tree Center. You can check them out and get your this week, if you get a chance, the free hearing exam.
Absolutely.
Be a good time.
Love to see
All right.
everybody.
Take care, and we'll be right back.